May of 2008 is when I officially started my own mobile detailing business. It was the tail end of May 2008. Housing shortage, crash, recession, all of it. I was 19 years old and I wanted to do my own business. I always wanted to do my own business. Now being 17 years beyond that and still running a detailing business, because every time I tried to escape it, it just sucked me in deeper, including even recently starting my own brand. But if I were to start over in detailing today, I would do a lot of things different. I would do a lot of the things the same, but I wanted to share what I would do differently if I started detailing today. And I'm really not sharing this to say I regret anything, but I would like to give you a shortcut if you're just starting, if you're just feeling stuck. Man, I've felt stuck so many times in my detailing business. So every 2 years for me personally, it felt like I got stuck and hit a sticking point. And so I thought, reflecting upon the 17 years of just things I would do differently with no fluff. This isn't a big pump for my product brand, so don't worry about that. This is literally just a sit down fireside, or really fan side because it's the middle of summer. But I just wanted to share things that I would change if I was starting from zero in 2025, because I think that could be very, very helpful. And I know there's a lot of gurus. I know there's a lot of people that are offering, advice in Facebook groups and all that. And that just adds to the noise a little bit as well. And for me, even being in this for 17 years, it makes it hard to decipher what actually works and what doesn't actually work. And so, though I am in a way adding to the noise, I hope that because it's just a pure reflection upon my experience, that it actually helps some of you out there. So, number one, and this is a highly debated topic, but honestly, in my opinion, I would get into a shop way, way sooner. I know that's a big barrier for some people. I know it's really hard to do, but in my opinion, I stayed mobile way too long. And I think, at least being in Southern California, being mobile is a total trap. It's a total trap. Getting into the shop and getting a shop, which I did for the first time in 2019, it just totally gave me consistency, better workflows, better pricing. No one negotiated the prices as soon as I got into a shop. A better bathroom than I had in my mobile van, way better bathroom. And it gave me some legitimacy that I was never able to accomplish with being mobile. And I had a blacked out obsidian black, mobile detailing van. I had the embroidered polo. I had all the bells and whistles to try to bring that experience to the customer's driveway. But the problem I realized, and I didn't even realize it until I had a shop, is when you have a shop or a studio or whatever, you can curate a very different experience in that shop than you can mobily. If you think about a mobile mechanic versus a mechanic shop, you almost say mobile mechanic and go, how's that even possible, right? How's that even work? Like, what? And it must be cheaper because the guy can't afford a shop and he must not be that busy and blah, 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 blah. And yes, I know there's the convenience aspect to it, and I'll talk about that in a second. But honestly, I would have got into a shop way, way sooner. Even a small shop, shared bay, something cheap and basic. You can paint it. You can make it look good. It gives you way more credibility and control than I've ever seen anyone talk about. So I know it's a big jump. It's a big barrier. You got a big burden of having a lease and all that. But if you can get something shared or cheap just to kind of start out, it's 100 times better than being mobile. Okay. You're out of the rain. You're out of the wind. You're out of the heat. All that goes away. All of it goes away when you're in a shop. And you could charge more. You can charge more because you're attracting a more serious customer when you're not in a driveway. I'm telling you, for whatever reason, at least in Southern California, maybe it's different wherever you may be. And I should preface all this by saying this is just straight up my experience. I could be totally wrong for your neck of the woods, wherever you are in the whole world. I could be totally wrong. For me in Southern California, which is, I think, playing in the big leagues, this has been my experience. So it could be different you are wherever you are. I know California, this is like the fifth biggest, largest economy in the world, and then Southern California is probably even beyond that, honestly. So, but again, just my experience. So, mobile for me sounded cool and it was low overhead, and that's why I went that route. And that's why I think a lot of people go that route, is because the barrier to entry is really easy, right? But the truth is, you get pigeonholed, and it's exhausting. And the wear and tear on you, your gear, the vehicle, it's real. So it's really not even that much cheaper than having the overhead of a shop, because you have all the wear and tear on your gear and you. Here's what I started to find. And this is what kind of pushed me into a shop too. And again, my first go around was with an Obsidian Black Sprinter van, a 144 short wheelbase, low roof van, which honestly was about the payment of my shop in 2019, ironically, is even when I was premium as mobile with the van and the polos embroidered, I was too premium for mobile. Too premium, which totally shocked me, and I didn't know, right? And I would get things like, oh, you're going to be way too expensive, or, oh, I can't afford this, or, wow, that van, or blah, blah. And this is back in, when was this? Maybe 2012, 2013, when Sprinter vans weren't as prevalent as they are now. Maybe it was 2014. But it was too much. You couldn't, and then I realized, wow, I can't really hit that premium spot mobily. Like, you're capped. My area capped me from being too nice as a mobile detailer. So I think it's just a lot harder to build a premium brand when you're chasing cars around town. Just the perception of it is not good. Again, in Southern California, where I was, in my experience, right? But I think mobile is a good way to start to get your feet wet. And if you're going to do that, if you must be mobile, one of the main things I would do is you have to frame it as a premium concierge service. You are not a mobile car wash. I think that's the big mistake I personally made. It's a big mistake I see all these detailing vans running around mobily, is their mobile car wash. And it's like, no, you're not a car wash. You're a premium concierge service. And you're not for everyone. That's another thing. You're not for everyone. Everyone is not your customer. Another thing, I had an idea there and I lost it. But another one, I was too cheap for too long. So like I said, I started when I was 19. I thought everyone was my customer. I lacked the experience, the business acumen. I lacked all of that, or I just needed to learn it, which was really the problem. And so I did. And I think as you're mobile starting out, if you use it as your, learning grounds, then it's great, because you are getting paid to learn. Right. But you can get stuck in that. You could get stuck in that trap, and honestly, I was scared to lose a job. Right. So I would price it to get the job instead of growing a business, which is detrimental to the longevity of your business. And when I look back on it, and some of the conversations I've had with other, brand owners or whatever, the one common thing that comes up, and something that I use to kind of judge my pricing now, whether it's detailing or product line prices, is I wish more people told me that I was too expensive, because then it means you're attracting the right level of customer. Someone who can afford you, that appreciates a premium concierge service, knows the value that you're bringing, and then it's not too expensive for them. It's priced accurately, right? And so don't base your pricing on what you would pay. Base your pricing on what value you deliver. And that's something that took me a long, long time, because I would think like, man, who's paying $250 for a detail? Like, that's crazy. Like, I would never pay that, right? Like, I can't believe this person's crazy enough to pay that. But that's because it's me. I'm doing the detail, right? I understand what's involved. They don't understand everything that's involved. So price based on the value you deliver, not based on what you would personally pay. Okay. Big thing right there. And high-end clients are the key. But I will say this, another mistake I see a ton of people make, I made, it's not about the Ferraris and the Lambos, okay? A nice minivan owned by someone who values clean and is happy to pay you every month, boom, honeypot, right? So higher end clients are, honestly, they're more respectful, they're more consistent, and they usually give better referrals. And because they value the service that you are bringing. And that's why now when I hear people say, oh man, your products are so expensive, I can never afford those or whatever, it's like, oh, you're not seeing the value in it, right? When I developed the Picture Perfect polish and it takes 6 months of R&D and a crazy investment on abrasives, and it can replace, 5 or 6 different products that people may be using. How do I price that? Like, that was the hardest part of that whole process of like, where do I price this? Because if I price it along with, say, like a 3D1, but it's more than 3D1, it's better than 3D1. It replaces 4 other products than 3D1, but I can't price it at 4 times the price at 3D1, right? It gets very hard. So, but being able to show the value that your products bring, that's what I think. I mean, as an aside, I think there's a massive problem in the product space where everyone looks the same, and it's just the continuation of what detailers do, honestly, and it rolls over to product brands is they just watch what other product brands do and then they do it themselves instead of trying to innovate and create themselves. And that's why all the products feel the same and look the same, and the industry feels saturated, and that's because everything is the same, right? No one's doing what I'm trying to do with Jimbo's and stepping out on a ledge and trying things differently. But you have to price accordingly to that. And so I can keep that going. So built into the price of the detail, built in the price of a product brand is the price for R&D to keep going, to keep my business afloat. You got to pay taxes. You got to pay insurance. You got to pay shop rent. You got to pay all these things. And you have to account for that when it comes to the price of the detail. But high-end clients are the key. High-end clients, not high-end cars. So many times that the guy with the Ferrari, the Lambo, the whatever, the high-end car, the high net worth car, the Porsche, the guy that has, 50 cars in a warehouse is the cheapest guy out there. I had a guy, he had his own private garage. He shared it with someone. He was a doctor, very well renowned. He was the cheapest person when it came to detailing his cars because he didn't see, not that he didn't see, I will reframe it to say, I wasn't able at that point in my career to show him the value that I brought, right? And that's where I messed up, and I had to learn that lesson, right? And it really, why was I not able to show him the value that I brought? Very simple. Early on, I lacked confidence. So that shows in your pricing and your sales, right? I waited for permission to charge more, right? But the problem is you need to act like you are the expert you're becoming. And that's what I didn't realize and took me forever. And I'm still even working on it. If you're good and you're consistently learning, you have the right to charge. You are a premium service. So, but sometimes that confidence only comes through time and doing it over and over and reps and doing it, right? And so don't have too much confidence. I guess this is the hard balance too. Don't be overly confident and then not deliver on that. That can be really brutal. And again, I'll just use it for a real life example. For me, when it came to the Picture Perfect polish, I had talked it up for so long, and at the 9th hour, 11th hour, or whatever, I realized this one glaring issue that the polish had, and that was that it was too aggressive on B-pillars, plastic B-pillars. It didn't finish them out right. It didn't finish them out how I wanted the polish to finish out. At the 11th hour, we found that out. And I was getting a lot of people saying, hey, just ship it, ship it, ship it. People have been waiting. You already pre-sold it, ship it. And I thought to myself, no, I need to make it perfect. I need to make it work on this, little segment of the car. And in doing that, it gives you the confidence to be like, okay, this is now dialed in, right? Constantly learning, have the right to charge. I'm confident in it because I fixed it and I know that it's perfect, literally picture perfect polish. And so now I can charge what I want to charge for it because I am confident in the product, right? I also think, this is like number 6 on my list. I think I waited a little too long to realize that I could kind of package my knowledge and methods into a product line. I think I lacked confidence in that. I was developing products and trying to sell them to people private label, developing products with Walter and then trying to, sell them to other clients. But it was like an uphill battle because they never saw the vision for it. And though, again, I learned a lot with dealing with a lot of other brands and saw, directions that they would take a brand that I thought were crazy, right? But I didn't have the confidence to strap my own label on it until I did, right? And so, and again, I tried, online training courses. I still have the detailer inner circle and all that, but nothing has been like the product brand. And I think when it comes back in, one thing I definitely didn't do that I needed to was start people on a reoccurring plan, a reoccurring maintenance plan. So again, it all goes hand in hand. When you're talking to a higher end client that sees the value that you're offering, locking them into a consistent plan where it's consistent for you and consistent for them, that is where it's at. And I've talked about it so much with Pete and the Detailer Inner Circle, but coming up with some sort of continuity program, continuing, automated, reoccurring revenue model is massive. And 100%, it'd be a little bit easier to do mobile. You could lock that person into Tuesday at 9 a.m. and you're just there like clockwork, right? And so being mobile and doing a service is such a grind that having this reoccurring revenue as your baseline is total freedom. Like, you absolutely need to do this. And it was a huge mistake that I didn't do. This is totally something that I would lock in immediately, right? Because then it also goes hand in hand. You have reoccurring revenue that makes you more confident in your services because you're not desperate. Then you don't have to take every customer. You can only take the best ones, right? Another thing, from 2008 until 2012, I did not have a website for my business, which is the craziest thing to look back on. But I would 100%, 1,000,000% focus more on marketing and less on, detailing techniques. Because I've said it so many times and so many other people have said it, but you can literally be the best detailer in the world, but if no one knows you, you won't make any money. And we see it time and time again online. All these detailers claiming that they do these high-end cars, that they're the best paint polisher, that they can polish paint better than you can, and they're broke as a joke. And just give them a few years, and then they're living in a van, right? So sometimes I think marketing can feel like a distraction, especially when you're out grinding, mobile, but it's actually the whole game if you want growth. Like, you have to be a primetime marketer, right? And so I would have started capturing photos, videos, testimonials, documenting everything from day one. I know for me, I make an excuse that 2008 was a much different world. Even 2012 was a much different world, but definitely in 2025 and beyond, we all have smartphones. It's very simple to take decent, quick photos, capture a testimonial, ask for a review, post that on Instagram, post that on your Google business profile, whatever. But definitely focusing more on marketing and what that looks like, because chances are, and I've told guys and gals this from day one when I started the podcast, like, if you are willing to become a detailing business owner, you probably already know everything there is to know about detailing. And you're probably pretty dang good at it, right? Just on the chance that you're going out and willing to detail someone else's car, probably you're good enough. You're a good enough detailer. But what you're not a good enough of is a marketer. So become a better marketer, right? And through this, I would start a YouTube channel or an Instagram instantly, a TikTok instantly. And I think I watched these guys on TikTok that started like a little hot dog cart, and they just started showing, they had a little tiny cart, right? And they set up at a gas station and blah, 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 blah. And they like blew up, right? And they're just showing, hey, we're not a fancy like hot dog vendor, right? We don't have all this stuff, but we're young and we're hustlers, and people appreciate that and want to support that. So documenting the early details, the early days will lead to better customers that see the value in your service. And that's the thing too. You could then help show the value that you bring through these, videos or stories or short form or whatever. And I think the important thing is like to not overthink it. Just show up, film what you're doing, and talk through exactly your day. And that's exactly what I did. If you go back, I still have them up to the early podcast days in 2014. That's literally what I did. And those are the days that I had the most fun and the content flowed the most, was like just talking about what I did. Hey, don't have coffee breath. Hey, a client accused me of breaking their air vent. Here's how I handled it. Hey, I crashed the customer's car. This is what I did. I'm doing it right now. Hey, I've been in the detailing space 17 years. Here's the mistakes that I did, right? I just continue to do it because that is the easiest content to produce, is when you're not faking it, you're just living it. And you're just documenting what you're living, right? And so do that. Literally do it. So I think the last thing as we kind of wrap up is like, I'd say no to more customers. Because not every customer is worth keeping, and the faster you learn to say no to whether it's the low ballers, the tire kickers, I call them the red flag clients, the faster you grow with ideal customers, because you're not bogged down, you're not dragged down with these cheap tire kickers that just want to take advantage of you, right? The ones who respect you, trust you, and pay you, those are the ones you want. So when someone says you're too expensive, instead of saying, well, let me lower my price, you could say, you know what, perfect. Bye-bye. You're not for me. That's okay. And that's okay. Not everyone is your customer. Not every customer is worth keeping. If you outgrow your customer, that's okay too. So that's it. That's everything I changed, right? So even though I changed a lot, honestly, when I look back, I'm grateful for it. I literally learned. This was my college education. This was my, I always wanted to do business, and running my own business was a phenomenal way to learn. So I'm still learning. I'm still changing. I'm still documenting, just like in this podcast. So even though I changed a lot, I am super grateful for how I started. And sometimes just scrappy starts are the best way to go. And I had a really, really scrappy start. But I hope, like I stated in the beginning, I hope this advice, this, experience can help you shortcut a few years of mistakes. Because this is what I would have wanted when I started way back then. So, but anyway, if you're just getting started, let me know what you wish you knew sooner, or wish you knew earlier. And if you've been in it for a long time, make sure you drop a comment. I'd love to hear your horror stories, what happens, things you wish you would have known. I love all that. And if you want to see the evolution of where the 17 years in the detailing space has taken me, you could head over to jimbosdetailing.com. Those are my favorite products in the world. I think they're the best. I'm constantly making sure they're the best by testing them against other products, which I don't really do on YouTube anymore, mainly because everyone thinks that I'm cheating, so I just don't do that. But I really hope that this story time kind of helped or does help you shortcut a few years in your journey. And I'd appreciate the support back over at jimbosdetailing.com. Everything's up over on Amazon as well. I'll make sure to link to that. But that is how you could support the channel, the podcast, and everything I do to continue to pump out good products. So hope you guys got some good insight out of that, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.